So I wanted to use this comment because I wanted to take it as an opportunity to talk about borderline personality disorder and Christianity and New Age spirituality. So I just want to go through my journey. So it began when I went to basic training for the military in 2017. That was when I first started to get into, like, you know, manifestation and writing things down and making these come to life. But I was actually doing it very unintentionally, and also I was going to church. I almost got baptized, but I didn't because I felt like I needed to go to, like, maybe like a baptism class before I just threw myself into getting baptized. But yes, I was writing down affirmations. I was writing down everything that made me feel good at night, like things that I wanted to manifest. And on top of that, I was reading my Bible that they gave us in basic training. Then after that, I started to go through this phase where, like, I was getting into, like, quantum leaping and, like, manifestation and all of those things. I loved, like, affirmations, gratitudes, intentions. I wrote those every single day. And also, I do want to note that people that have borderline personality disorder tend to hop from spirituality to different spiritualities to different religions, tend to try it all. And honestly, from my experience, I did that because I was just trying to find answers, like, what the fuck is going on with me? So after I started to get into, like, quantum leaping and all of those things, I got into New Age spirituality. I've always had a love for astrology because I learned it in college. I learned about it in college. Somebody introduced it to me then. And I just enjoyed, like, the psychology part of it. And I just enjoyed, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, so this is why I'm like this is why I'm like that. But over the years, I started to get deeper into it. And then I found out about numerology. Loved her down. And then after that, that's when I started to get into New Age spirituality and dabbling and shit that made me go bonkers. And I'm not judging nobody that's in it. I love that for y'all, but I just know that for me, New Age spirituality just wasn't it for me. So I hopped out of that, started to become, like, a super Jesus freak. And I realized that that was even, like, too much for me. I just started to see, like, where I just didn't fit into that. So I kind of took a step back from that. And I talk about all of this on my podcast, y'all. It's in my bio, my link tree. But I started to, like, super duper get into, like, church and all of that. And then I guess you could say, like, now is, like, where I am now with this borderline personality disorder diagnosis. I was able to really just come to myself and be like, you know what, less is more. So what I do now is I'm getting back into listening to my affirmations while I'm sleeping. I play them while I'm just in the house. Just even if I'm not listening to them, just having those positive reinforcements running through my subconscious while I'm up and doing whatever I'm doing is great. I love to read the scriptures that I like to read that affirm things about myself. I took a big step back from astrology because it was making me so anxious. I was, like, using predictive astrology, like looking up my compatibility with people instead of, like, just living in a moment and stuff like that. Once I got my diagnosis, though, that's when I started to be like, okay, like, this is making me anxious. And I had to realize that every single bad habit that I was experiencing was due to my unhealthy life choices, and looking too deep into astrology and numerology was giving me anxiety, and it was making me more paranoid, like, oh my gosh, like, when is this gonna happen, when is this gonna happen? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop constantly, and that's not doing anything but feeding that paranoia. So now I'm just kind of like, you know, and also I used to have this thing where, like, if anything would trigger me, I would look at, like, the astrology to be like, oh my god, like, this is why this happened today, this is why that happened today. And it's like, I just don't want to do that to myself. And I'm not saying that there isn't any truth to astrology. Love astrology down, like, it's helped me a lot, I will say. But I don't want it to be my entire life because it's not my entire life. My entire life is in front of me. It's the present moment, and I'm missing everything. I'm missing everything by looking at what I feel like is going to happen next or what needs to happen next. When all I have to do is just be in this moment, and I will get those signs from God on, like, what I need to do, you know. So yeah, I'm very grateful for where I am now. And also, like, when I'm walking outside, I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to God. You know, I'm just making sure that I'm grounding myself. And that has been, like, my biggest spiritual technique right now, is just making sure that I stay grounded. So, like, affirmations keep me grounded. I listen to a lady named Toni Jones. She's a black woman that does affirmative music. Londrell, Mel Shante, just different people that make, like, spiritual. India Ari's first album, acoustic, whatever, I don't know. But I was just playing that. Just things that I feel like on a spiritual level, because I am hypersensitive. I don't want anything on the outside that is being invited into my brain and I'm attaching myself to so easily, and I'm allowing it to influence me so easily because I am a person that is easily influenced due to my hypersensitivity. So it's giving coke rant. But yes, I definitely wanted to touch on that when it comes to BPD, because I want to know if there's, like, anybody else that has experienced hopping from spirituality practice to religion to spirituality practice. But what I have found that for me is that less is more, and I implement a few things into my life that help me feel at peace and at ease and keep me in the present moment. So yeah.